Good.
Hey, everybody. We are so excited to be here and to have you guys here with us. And so just put in the chat what a phenomenal day you're having and that you are glad to be here at Flat Belly Lifestyle. So I'm going to change my screen right now. I'm going to introduce to you, most of you know, but for the guests on the line, I am Phyllis Nash, Chief Sales Officer here at Wakana, and also one of the four co-founders of Wakana. And we're excited about our business, our company, and especially today, the Flat Belly Lifestyle. So let me get us started right here. We invite you to take the pledge. And I know you're saying, what is the pledge? Well, it's something, guys, that has absolutely changed my life and so many other people that I know. And so we want to welcome you here to the Flat Belly Lifestyle 2.0. It's a revolutionary approach to weight loss, guys, and health management by Wakana for Life. And it's based on spiritual principles, scientific evidence, and validation from real people. So our company, we started Wakana for Life in 2019. Our headquarters is in Chicago, founded by 4 African-American women. And we have more than 23,000 customers. I'm going to give us a hand myself because I think that is a huge for just a little over a 3-year-old company. And we have sales in excess of $8 million. We employ over 20 dynamic, phenomenal people, and we reinvest 1% of gross profits into our communities. We launched Flat Belly Lifestyle in 2021. And on our Google rating, it's a 5-star rating. That's pretty huge. And we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. Again, I'm excited for you that you're here to hear about. Now, how we believe that true well-being is only found by connecting, just as our grandmothers did, to the garden, the earth, and to our inner wisdom. My body speaks to me constantly, and I'm so glad about that. And that's what we have to have is Mother Wit, and we all have it. See, I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth and every tree that has fruit and seed in it. They will be yours for food. That comes from Genesis 1:29. Now, we are participating in so many different industries here at Wakana. The global wellness industry as a whole yields over $3.4 trillion annually. I'm going to repeat that, $3.4 trillion annually. And we specialize in these sectors. We started off in CBD and we've added Delta 8. That's a $7 billion industry. Now we're in weight loss. Weight loss is a $288 billion industry. And guys, with the Flat Belly Lifestyle, it's so much more than just weight loss. It's a mindset. It's a way of life. That's a $288 billion industry. Skincare, that's a $190 billion industry. We participate in that. Hair care is a $87 billion industry. And herbals and botanicals is a $150 billion industry. So for anybody that's out there looking for a plan B, I wonder, are we in the industries that can attract you? What's better than health and wellness and changing people's lives? So what is the pledge? Research shows many chronic diseases can be avoided by eating according to your blood type and focusing on more plant-based meals. And you know what, guys? I just wonder, is it by design? Because for the 95% of the people that take the pledge, they don't even know what their blood type is. If you eat according to your blood type, and that's gonna help you become healthier, then we need that information. Because wouldn't you pledge to go plant-based for your blood type if it meant living a healthier and more fulfilling life? That's a question you need to be asking yourself. Because what is your goal? See, my goal was getting in shape, improving and aging better. Your goal might be going plant-based. Mine was not that in the beginning, but it is now. Losing weight, getting in shape, helping your family, improving mental health, preventive chronic disease. Just ask yourself, what is your weight? One of these or all of these? And let me ask you this question again. Would you pledge to go plant-based for your blood type if it meant living a healthier and more fulfilling life? I'm going to remember that, because that's a question I need to ask everybody I run into. Because what will you learn here today? Well, you're going to learn about the science behind the bioscan. You're going to learn about eating for your blood type. You're also going to learn about the root cause of disease, how the solutions to help you live your best life, and inspiring stories from real people. So before I bring up the next speaker, I'd just like to tell you the benefits that I have been seeing in my own life from taking the pledge. I've lost a total of 14 pounds, 6 inches. But what was more important to me, guys, is that I was able to drop my cholesterol 50 points, along with stabilizing my blood pressure without any meds. So I'm excited about what you're about to hear, the rest of that. And I'm going to bring up our CEO. This young lady she had her slide up a second ago. Do you want to? I should know this by heart. I don't need a slide to introduce her, but she is a phenomenal leader. She is our visionary. She is Melissa Boston, our CEO. She's also a wife, a mother, a grandma. As I said before, she's the CEO of Wakana for Life, and she is our pillar of legacy, guys, the visionary about all of what you see. Nobody else can take that, because she is truly a visionary. An author of Proverbs Diet, which is, she made her a best-selling co-author. And so without further ado, I want to bring to you my friend, my mentor, my child sometime, her daughter sometime, Melissa Boston. Take it away, girl.
Wow, Phyllis, that was so awesome and amazing. Let me do this real quick. I want to bring us on gallery, Phyllis. We're actually live on Facebook, so anyone out there that can turn on your camera, let's turn your camera on, because we want to shout out to all of our Facebook fans out there, for all of those of you following our corporate page. Hey, Tammy, thank you for getting on camera. I see Shirley. I see Dr. Rita, Dr. Betty, Phyllis, Christian. I don't know what happened to yours. Who is that? McGowan. Hey, McGowan, how you doing? Cheryl Johns, Cherie Eppinger, Paula G. Oh my goodness, guys, this is so exciting. You know, say hi to all of your customers out there who are watching us.
Hey, customers, and those
to be. In fact, if you're watching this live, go ahead and share this now, because we're going to give some more life-changing information. But first, we have to give it up for our phenomenal CSO, because Phyllis, you just broke it down. That was absolutely electrifying. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for being who you are. You are absolutely amazing, and we just love you so much. We appreciate you so much. And again, hello, and welcome, everyone. You know, that was exciting information. I mean, Phyllis just dropped some nuggets on us tonight, and we're just so grateful and thankful for everything that she does. I mean, you gave me this gracious introduction, Phyllis. I really want to give it back to you. I'm telling you what, you know, you have been someone who's been instrumental in the growth and the success, everything that we see happening at Wakana. You know, you see Phyllis involved, and we just appreciate you for being who you are. And again, hello. This is exciting, because yes, this is our Flat Belly Lifestyle 2.0. And Phyllis really gave you a summary of what it means, but let's really jump into this right now, because here's the reality. We know that weight loss resistance, do you know that it's epidemic right now? It's epidemic. There are so many people who are struggling, whether you're overweight or whether you're underweight and you're dealing with skinny fat. I mean, can you guys relate to skinny fat too? Because there's a lot of people that might look super thin, they look super fit, but they look down and they see this unwanted belly fat. And it's really about understanding what's happening at the cellular level. In fact, there's a saying that we have, and it's called what the cell is going on. I'm going to say that one more time. What the cell is going on. We have to fix it at the cellular level. It's not just about what you eat, but it's also about emotional support. It's also about, reducing mental stress, and actually supplements sometimes can take you to that next level. Because when we look at what's happening right now in our society, these are the top 10 leading causes of death. We know that heart disease has continued to top the chart year after year. When we combine that with the rates of death from cancer, that's over 1.2 million people that are dying every single year prematurely, because we know that most of these diseases are preventable. And we want to talk to you about how you can actually reclaim your life, because it is time for a change. I mean, who out there agrees? If you believe that it is time for a change, if you want to start breaking those generational curses, if you want to start passing on good health to your future generations, I want you to put a comment in the chat right now and let the world know that it is time for a change. Because what we see is African Americans being disproportionately impacted by almost every single chronic disease. When we think about preventative medicine, when we think about all the technological breakthroughs, unfortunately, they've been kept from our community. So we continue to suffer, but we have to start by learning what is our blood type. We have to start by learning what's happening at the cellular level. And that's what we're going to talk to you tonight about. What's going on at the cell? Do you know your blood type? In fact, I want you to drop right now in the chat. For everyone who knows your blood type, perhaps your blood type A, blood type B, blood type O, just let us know what your blood type is. And the question that I have for each and every one of you is, are you curious? Are you curious to know what in the world is happening on the inside of your body? Because if we're going to start preventing disease, we're going to have to see what's happening at those very cells. And let's look at some of the foods that maybe you don't know, but are actually toxic to your blood type. And do you know that many of us, for our entire lives, we've been eating in the dark. We've been eating foods that go against our very blood type. In fact, I'm a blood type A, and I was raised by a blood type O. And I ate a blood type O diet most of my life. By the time I was 19 years old, I found myself in a life or death situation. The doctor told my grandmother that I had a 50% chance of living or dying. I had no idea that the heavy meat diet that I had eaten my entire life was literally killing me. And this is just an example of some of the hundreds of items that you might need to avoid based on your blood type. And so let's say you're A positive or A negative. Do you know that you should avoid most animal meat? In fact, you should eat primarily a vegetarian diet. In fact, even bananas could be detrimental to your health when you're eating them every day. Sometimes you can eat certain things occasionally, but it's what you're doing every single day that actually is that nail in the coffin. And when we think about our blood type B, do you know that 9% of our society is blood type B? But do you know that they should avoid avocados, black beans? Do you know that chicken is toxic to a blood type B? And think about this, if 9% of African Americans are blood type B, and when you think about chickens have been a staple in our diet, and now you see so many people suffering from gout and all these chronic issues, you have to wonder, what is their blood type? And then our AB share similar characteristics of A and B combined. And then there's our type O's. Now, type O's tend to get away with a little bit more, but there's also foods that they should avoid as well. Even though they have higher stomach acids, this allows them to handle meat more efficiently than a type A or B, but no blood type was really designed to eat animal meat. But they just happen to have higher gastric acids, stomach acids, that helps them break the meat down more effectively, but it doesn't mean that they should eat meat. But if you look at the items that they should avoid, things like white wine, dairy, and most grains are actually toxic to someone who's a type O blood. And so here's a technology that you really need to know about, because biotechnology is rooted in the word biology. And it's actually the utilization of cellular and biomolecular processes that actually can help improve our lives. When you look at the use of this technology, it's actually helped to prevent, chronic disease. It's actually helped to save the lives of millions of children all around the world. In fact, so many different types of industries, use biotechnology. We want to talk now about our specific device, which is a quantum magnetic analyzer, also known as the BioScan. It's non-invasive, doesn't use radiation or any other harmful processes, but it's primarily used in Eastern medicine. It's primarily used by chiropractors and naturopath doctors. And so when you think about the BioScan, it's actually capturing the phenomenon of how our bodies work. Do you know that we are energy? In fact, Albert Einstein said, the future of medicine is energy medicine. When you think about the human cells, they're dividing. In fact, our body is made of trillions of cells, and these cells are not only dividing and splitting, but they're also regenerating. They're dying. For adults, do you know that 25 million cells are dividing every single second? Our red blood cells are renewing at a rate of 100 trillion per minute, actually 100 million per minute. And during this cell division, do you know that our body's emitting these electronic wave signals? And it's these signals that actually determine whether the body is healthy or unhealthy. And these signals are compared with the spectrum of disease, nutrition, and other indicators of irregularities. But we don't want to wait until the crisis, because oftentimes you see someone and they might drop dead at 46, and it seems like, man, this is such a tragedy. They had no idea. But do you know there's ways to actually see what's happening years before the crisis? And so we don't want to wait until we're at crisis mode before we learn about what's happening. Because the reality is this: when we're at our healthiest, we actually can measure our body at 100% energy. But once we start going into crisis level, do you know that modern medicine, modern technology can only capture this once we're down to 30% energy? Once we're at 4% energy, they call that the point of no return, and 0% energy, that's when death happens. And do you know that modern machines are calibrated to detect disease at that very crisis level? By the time we recognize the tumor, it's already divided millions of times. And what's so powerful about the BioScan, it can ascertain disease down to as little as 10 cells. See, that's called preventative medicine. And that's why we're super passionate about sharing this with everyone we know. In fact, it was invented by a team of medical and computer experts. The accuracy rate is between 85 and 95%. It's been in use for more than 40 years. And do you know that it was based on the clinical studies of over 100 million different clinical cases over the period of many, many years. And so now let's look at what it actually tests. Our BioScan tests many areas of the body, and this is one of the critical ones that we always want to start with, because when we think about the two most important organs in the body, it's our brain and it's our heart. Because without your brain or without your heart, life will cease as you know it. And so we've got to protect our heart, protect our brain. And our BioScan can actually measure the strength of your heart. It can measure the strength of your brain. When you actually see items in green, that represents normal. In blue, that's mildly abnormal. In yellow, that's moderately abnormal. And when it's red, it's severely abnormal. And again, we want to prevent this from going into the red or the yellow states. Many times when we do the scan, people are often already in the yellow. And God forbid if you actually see areas in the red, that means you want to address those areas immediately. Because what we're seeing is artery disease. And artery disease is actually what leads to that stroke. It's what leads to that heart attack. And with our BioScan, these are the items we test. So we can test your blood viscosity. And this measures how thick your blood is. When you think about someone that's had a blood clot, why do they have a blood clot in the first place? It's because the blood not only starts to get thicker, but also there's extra fat roaming around in that blood as well. Wouldn't you like to know it when it's at that beginning stage so that you can prevent something more serious like an aneurysm? And when you think about blood viscosity, cholesterol, these are items that you go to the doctor and you test sometimes regularly, but in a matter of 2 minutes, we can actually ascertain exactly what's happening at the cellular level. And the reason why we focus on artery disease, because when you really start to think about atherosclerosis, when you think about the fact that optimally, we hope to have very clear arteries so that blood can flow through smoothly. And then at the early stages, that's what we call borderline heart disease, when you start to see that plaque accumulating on those outer levels. But then you start to see it get to a higher level, then it gets to that dangerous level. And that's what we mean when we say avoiding the crisis. See, you don't want to wait until your arteries are 60 or 70% blocked before you do something about it. You want to catch it at those early stages. Because artery disease, in fact, atherosclerosis blood clot, it happens in a couple of ways. First, it could be a brain stroke, and that's when you have a blood clot that blocks the blood flow to the brain. But then when it happens with the heart, it's called a heart attack. And that's when the blood flow is actually blocked to the very heart. And so liver is also another area that we want to pay attention to. We know that our liver is super critical and important because it's that filter of the body. The liver really needs to be healthy for us to live our best life. And so this is actually a test result from one of our volunteers, and we can actually see exactly what's happening in their liver. And as you can see, this particular person is suffering from fatty liver disease. This is a disease that is on the rise. They're now calling fatty liver the new silent killer. And what we want to do is prevent it from happening in the first place. The good news, if you're already dealing with fatty liver, this is 100% reversible. And so you want to stop it before it gets to something more severe, like liver fibrosis or cirrhosis of the liver. And so let's talk about what fatty liver disease is. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, it's a potentially fatal condition, and it wreaks as much damage to your liver as would a bottle of vodka every day. I want you to think about that for a second. The food we're eating right now is so toxic to our body that it's causing more damage than even drinking alcohol. Now, we don't want to turn to drinking alcohol because we know that also will lead to cirrhosis of the liver. But when you think about fatty liver, it's happening at earlier ages. Not only is it on the rise, but it's impacting 80 to 100 million people here in the United States. And this is according to the National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Disease. Do you know that 16 million people, in fact, 16 million of those cases have a more aggressive form? And we call that the silent killer, because for many of them, it's going to progress to cirrhosis of the liver. And the reason why you want to address it when it's at this state, and that's fatty liver, is because, again, the liver can still be repaired. But once you start getting scar tissue, and then it gets so hard, the only option is a liver transplant. So you don't want to wait until, again, you're in crisis mode. Kidney disease. I mean, everywhere we look, kidney disease, it's on the rise. In fact, again, sometimes people end up on dialysis and they think it just happened overnight, but this is typically something that happens after decades of abuse. And we can actually see with our report cards what's happening with those kidneys. In fact, in this particular case, we can see that this person has protein that's actually pouring out of the urine. It's called proteinuria. And this is very dangerous because once protein starts dumping out in the urine, that means your kidneys have already experienced a degree of kidney damage. And there are 5 stages of kidney damage. We can actually see if the kidneys are normal and they're functioning at a very high level. But do you know that many people don't even know they're already in stage 2? And that's when they're already at that mildly decreased function. In stage 3A and 3B, that means it's decreased even further to a moderate state. But then we see stage 4, and that when it's severely decreased function. And then stage 5 is where people end up in dialysis, because that's what we call kidney failure. And again, we want to avoid it going into that stage. And so what we want to do is start making proactive choices right now, because it is estimated that every 30 seconds, a leg is being amputated here in the United States. Every 30 seconds, think about that. And do you know that 85% of these amputations are the result of diabetes? How many people have you heard they develop those foot ulcers? And those foot ulcers don't heal. And we actually even have developed and formulated products that can actually help you with those foot ulcers, because it's the foot ulcer that leads to those amputations. And so you really want to work to reverse kidney disease, because when you really look at it, both diabetes and dialysis, they're increasing at alarming rates. We see that African Americans and Hispanic children that are born after the year 2000, do you know they have a 50% chance of developing diabetes in their lifetime? And this is going to shorten their lifespan. Do you know that for the first time, we've given birth to a generation of children that are predicted to have a shorter life span than their parents? And so we've got to stop this. In fact, these high sugar levels that are hanging out in our blood over time, they lead to kidney damage. Over time, this is what causes kidney failure. And the final report card that we want to look at is your basic physical quality. And this is known as either being overly acidic or alkaline. And the goal is for you to have an alkaline body. And when we look at this particular person, we can see that they're suffering not only from severe acidity, I mean, it's in the red, and we know that disease will thrive when the body is acidic, but when it's alkaline, it makes it very hard for disease to exist. And so you really want to work to get the body back into an alkaline state. But also you see hypoxia. And what hypoxia means, this is really how you can see. Sometimes what happens is we don't even know we're in the death zone, right? And so many people, 30 days prior to their death is when typically we spend the most amount of money trying to preserve our life. And so what we want to do is prevent things from happening in the first place, because hypoxia means your cells are starting to be short on oxygen. And when you think about death and how someone dies, it's because cellular oxygen is no longer present. And we know that oxygen is super critical to the body. And so this can also measure how well your cells are actually holding oxygen, because that's critical to life itself. And so this all, we know is by design. We call this phenomenon suicide, because we're literally digging our grave with our fork, but we know that it's really by design. We know that big businesses are profiting off our pain. In fact, our neighborhoods are loaded with fast food restaurants on every single corner. Our children are bombarded with commercials. And these commercials are targeting them to eat highly addictive foods that we know lead to diabetes. Do you know that this type of advertising is considered predatory in other countries? Why do they allow that here in the United States? And do you know the bottom line is huge corporations have created trillion-dollar industries off of our very pain. And so to get to the root cause so that you can understand what is the root cause and how can we reverse that, we have our phenomenal Chief Medical Officer on the line. This is someone who's not only an OB-GYN for the past 30 years, she's delivered over 8,000 babies, but she's the mother of 3 incredible adults. She is soon to be a grandma. In fact, she is the Chief Medical Officer, co-founder of Wakanda for Life. She is our pillar of health. She is the owner of South Florida Fit Camp. And again, coming soon, a grandma. We just love and adore her so much. I'm going to turn it over to you, Dr. Rita, to take it away.
Wow. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you so much. That was incredible. When you talked about so many things, the thing that really I want our listeners to understand is the fact that folks are still getting amputations is real. I do a couple of nursing homes. I have some contracts here in Chicago, and 1/3 of the residents have either amputated below or above the knee. They have amputated toes. They have amputated fingers. And so it's time for a change. It really is time for a change. We've got to get to our communities, our friends, our families to change. And what I'm going to be talking about
I think you're muted, Dr. Rita.
I'm sorry about that. I got so excited and hit the mute button. We're going to be talking about the 5 root causes of disease. And these are really, really important. You may want to get a pen, get some paper to really understand how we can change, we can reverse the root causes of disease. So number 1 is a lack of oxygen. Melissa, you spoke about hypoxemia or hypoxic states. And on a cellular level, when our cells are deprived of oxygen, that's when disease states happen, right? Disease states happen like asthma, anemia, emphysema, hypertension, diabetes. These are all conditions on a cellular level where our cells are not getting enough oxygen. Our cells are really are dying to get those nutrients, but they can't. From the foods that we're eating, deprive oxygen. We can reverse that just by introducing things like beet juice, leafy vegetables, fruits, things that we've gotten away from during our Western civilization sort of diet. You know, for many years, I'm a type A, like Melissa, for many years. I'm going to say all my life, practically. I was eating like a type O. I love meat. But there are certain foods, depending on your blood type, that can really be toxic. And we want to, of course, improve the oxygen on a cellular level. Number 2, root cause, mucus and parasites. Well, mucus and parasites, of course, are consumed in our everyday diet. If you're a high consuming carnivore, eating lots of meat, pork, etc., a lot of the foods that we're eating today have parasites that infect our intestinal tract: whipworm, tapeworm, roundworm, giardia, hookworm, and coccidia. A lot of these parasites are found in our food. Number 3, root cause, toxicity. You know, we are a community of processed foods, fast foods. On every block, we have either a McDonald's, a Chick-fil-A, or a Burger King. Along with that, we have dialysis centers. So our primary issue in disease states is that very important organs like our liver, our lungs, our gut, our skin need to be detoxed. Those toxins need to be released. And when they are released, we are able to really reverse a lot of disease states. Number 4, this is a big one. You know, I tell people I'm seeing more patients with thyroid issues. Wasn't very common when I was in medical school about 30 years ago or 36 years ago. But deficiencies, even deficiencies like vitamin D. You know, vitamin D deficiency has a lot of symptoms, causes a lot of concerns for our health: muscle weakness, chronic kidney disease, respiratory problems, bone pain, even infertility. We're seeing a lot of infertile couples, and just a correction in a vitamin D deficiency can make and improve fertility rates. Hypertension, skin disorders like psoriasis. And then number 5, acidity. When we look at our blood pH should be more alkaline. And again, when we look at the root cause, even in acidity, we see foods like dairy, cheese, eggs, poultry, red meat. A lot of these foods are acidic. And when we have an acidic blood pH, we have disease. So again, going to the right side of the screen, incorporating fruits, vegetables, all of these types of foods can allow our blood pH to be alkaline, and that root cause of so many diseases can be reversed. You know, fruit gets a really bad rap, you know, in medical school, in training. You know, we're always counseling our patients not to eat a lot of fruit. It's high in sugar, right? But fruits and vegetables are what we are lacking. That's what we're lacking, and that's what causes typically an acidic pH of our body. So are you ready to live the best possible life? How do you do that? Well, you've got to be the best version of yourself. And the best version of yourself is correcting these root causes. correcting lack of oxygen, correcting parasites, correcting acidity in the body, detoxifying, getting rid of the toxins. These are really important so that you can live not only a long life, we all want to live to we're 90 and 100, but a quality of life, right? We don't want to be in a nursing home with double amputees or amputations. We don't want to be immobile. We want to have that quality where we're able to travel. We're spending time with family. We're doing the things that we love. If it's golf, if it's tennis, if it's swimming, whatever it is, living the best possible life. So we're going to talk about these products that Dr. Eric Prince, our naturopath, has formulated. He's formulated some incredible, incredible products that are part of our Phase 3 program. He's a master coach. He's a master world champion in track and field. He is really someone that understands that we can reverse diabetes. We can reverse the aging process, and we can do it with our food. We can do it with our food. And I'm so excited because I was a part of Phase 3. In Phase 3, we're going to talk about, but it's a 21-day raw cleanse where I was able to not only remove 10 pounds of waste, and everybody wants to lose weight, right? And needs to lose weight, but I was able to lower my blood pressure. I was able to reduce stress. I was able to really be able to, and I tell people all the time, we weren't trained to practice medicine in this global pandemic. I was really able to deal with all the stress and anxiety that goes with being a frontline healthcare provider. So Dr. Eric Prince says in a quote, you can't consciously resolve your health issues on the same mental level that you unconsciously use to create them. So let's talk about our Flat Belly Lifestyle 2.0. These are the right products to, again, address those root causes and to really reset your life. If you're like me, 58 years, loving meat, didn't understand why every time I ate a steak or a hamburger, I felt sick the next day. Well, one, because I'm type A, and my blood type is one that is vegetarian or vegan, which I am today after this Flat Belly Lifestyle or Phase 3 that I went through. I'm a vegan, a raw vegan, feeling great. So we're going to talk about these products. We're going to talk about these phases. But in Phase 3, we have 3 products. And step 1 is to eliminate excess mucus and parasites. And we talked about that, right? We talked about how parasites, human intestinal parasites, are a root cause of disease. So we have a product that eliminates that parasites and mucus in our body. Step 2 product of Phase 3 is an incredible product. It cleanses the colon. 70% of our immune system is found in our gut. So that is the most important system that we need to detox and cleanse on a daily basis. So this is the purifier. The purifier is a tea that you're going to drink daily, and it's going to help detoxify those bodily organs like the liver, the lungs, the kidney, the skin. And then step 3, the superfood. Superfoods are rich in vitamins and minerals. They really help our body to stay healthy and prevent disease. We know that when the body is nourished, and what I have found is that this lifestyle has removed those cravings that I used to have for Skinny Pop. I would abuse Skinny Pop, right? Those cravings that I would have for chocolate. When you supply your body with nutrients, dense nutrients that it's really craving for, the cravings for those processed foods and unhealthy foods really do leave. So Melissa, our visionary, our CEO, really talks about how herbs and botanicals are living things. So we really should think of them as allies instead of consumables. Each person has a particular plant ally that we can get to know and will come to our aid when needed. So step 3, the superfood, we call it the regenerator, has amazing herbs like ashwagandha, chlorella, prebiotics, moringa, beetroot. All of these herbs, organic herbs, help to replenish and nourish our cells to provide that oxygen on a cellular level with good nutrition. So the phase 3 is a 21-day raw cleanse. You're juicing, you're eating raw salads. You're also incorporating these 3 products on a daily basis, and it is incredible. We have a deluxe package as well, which includes our flat belly gummies, our coffee and bitters, or we have the a la carte package. Our phase 2 is 7 days. It's a 7-day raw cleanse. For those that maybe 21 days is a little too much. It's going to come with a third of the products, the same products in phase 3, the eliminator, removing mucus and parasites, the purifier, which is that liquid colonic, keeping that colon very healthy and clean, and the regenerator, the superfoods that are nourishing your cells. So we have phase 3, phase 2, and now phase 1. Now, phase 1 is for that person out there that, is not quite ready for that raw vegan cleanse yet. We have phase 1, which is plant focused. So you're still able to eat your meats, your organic chicken, your grass-fed beef, if you're still eating beef, your wild caught fish, if you're still eating fish. It's a plant focused sort of detox. But what I love about this phase is that we incorporate our CBD infused coffee and our CBD infused gummies. Now, CBD is cannabidiol. It is one of the #1 compounds or cannabinoids that we call it that's found in the hemp species. That means that this is part of cannabis that doesn't give you a high. It doesn't give you a euphoria. It doesn't give you a paranoia. But what it does afford you is that it allows that white fat, that fat that insulates those important organs, it allows the white fat to turn into brown fat. It's called browning. And when you have that browning occurring inside of your body, it increases your metabolism. It helps to improve your digestion, as well as it helps to reduce your cravings for sugar and those refined carbs. So this phase includes a coffee, which you're going to drink 1 to 2 times a day. It's going to give you energy. It's going to improve your metabolism, and it's going to also reduce your cravings. It's going to include the flat belly bitters. I haven't talked about the flat belly bitters, but it's a tea. It's a tea that is bitter. It doesn't contain CBD, but it helps to stimulate the digestion. It's a detox. It detoxes the liver, controls your sugar and your carb cravings. It is not infused with CBD. And then the flat belly gummy, our gummies are formulated with ingredients to not only improve your gut health, but to boost your metabolism, to control your appetite, and to reduce inflammation. This is a great program where you're eating one gummy about 15 minutes before your meals. You're drinking the coffee in the morning and maybe mid-afternoon, and you're doing that flat belly tea bitter in the evening. So it's a great program as well if you're looking to detox and you're looking to lose weight, but you're not quite ready for that phase 1, 2, or 3. So these are some additional resources We would love for you right now to go to our flatbellylifestyle.com, download the free ebook. In fact, you can use that QR code, put your phone right up on that code. It will take you directly to our Facebook group. These programs, phase 1, 2, and 3, also includes emotional support. It includes recipes and meal plans. We have our coaching and coaches available to really walk you through this process. We have fun and effective workout plans and other tools. So a couple of amazing folks and their testimonies. You heard from our Chief Sales Officer, Phyllis Nash, who's one of the very first, she was the very first, I want to say patient, she was the very first person to go through our 21-day raw cleanse, our 21-day, our phase 3. She dropped 17 pounds. But what's also quite impressive is that her cholesterol dropped 50 points. And that's really significant. In 21 days, she did that. You know, she was facing being placed on Lipitor, which is a statin that we use to lower cholesterol. And Phyllis did not want that. And she was able to do that safely, effectively with that phase 3 program. We also have Tariq Rogers, who lost 25 pounds of waist in 21 days. Mary, she initially decided to show up for me. So in 5 months, she lost 21 pounds and 14% of her body weight, which included 9 inches off her waist. You know, when you carry your weight in your abdominal area, that increases your risk for metabolic syndrome. That increases your risk of comorbidities like diabetes, heart disease, hypertension, right? So just losing 9 inches off of her waist was significant. And then Crystal Robinson lost 11 pounds of waist and removed belly fat in 21 days. I'm telling you, belly fat is a liability. You absolutely want to get away from that belly fat. It causes your heart to work harder and causes a lot of health issues. Beatrice participated, and some people do. They participate in multiple phases, different phases. So she participated in phase 1 and phase 3. She was able to remove unwanted belly fat and drop more than 30 pounds. Look at that before and after picture. Very, very impressive. So we want you to select which phase you want to join. Phase 1, our plant focus. Phase 2, our 7-day raw cleanse. Or phase 3, our 21-day cleanse. Select your phase, connect with the person that invited you on this call. Also, connect with your wellness coach via the flatbellylifestyle.com. We want you to join our community. We want you to take the pledge. We want you to download your free ebook. We want you to join the conversation on Facebook. It's fun. It's easy. Let's make it happen because it's time for a change. It is time for a change. Our communities are still dying from preventative health conditions. Our communities are still facing comorbidities like obesity, hypertension, and diabetes, and cancer, and arthritis, and even mental issues that are a result of poor eating. So let's take the pledge, let's join the community, select your phase, connect with the person that invited you. And right now, I'm going to stop sharing and we'll take some questions. You can put your questions right there in the chat. Any questions this evening? Will the flat belly diet help with someone who has a fupa? Well, the flat belly lifestyle will definitely help to reduce that belly fat around your waist and your midsection. Some ladies have that fupa because they've had a C-section or they've had a hysterectomy, and the way that healing process has happened. So with the flat belly lifestyle, with your exercise regimen, let's get on and help with that fupa. That's that area right in that lower abdomen that us ladies have that's really, really hard to get rid of. It's really hard, right? So it's much more than doing sit-ups. It's a combination of our flat belly lifestyle phases. It's a combination of cardio. You've got to do that cardio. And it's a combination of that targeted ab work, doing those sit-ups and doing those planks, right? That really helps to target the core area as well. How often should you do the 21-day cleanse? The 21-day cleanse can be repeated, every 6 to 8, 12 weeks. After my 21-day cleanse, I kind of moved into that lifestyle. My life is, I'm doing 4 32-ounce juices a day and 2 salads. So that's not far from the 21-day cleanse at all. So incorporating that vegan lifestyle is something that many of us have done after the 21-day cleanse. Again, the 21-day cleanse comes with the 3 products. So that's something that you absolutely can repeat 2 to 3 times a year. It really depends on how much toxicity that you have in the body. And many of us have a lot of toxicity because we've been eating, we've been drinking like this for a very, very long time. Can a person start with any phase? Can a person start any phase, or can what the BioScan recommends? I think sure you're asking, can anyone start with any phase? Absolutely. You can start with phase 1, 2, or 3. We want you to be successful. If you're not someone that knows at this point can do a 21-day raw cleanse, a vegan cleanse, then start with phase 1 and then really work yourself up to phase 3. So some people have done phase 1, then gone to phase 2, and then phase 3. Can you do the cleanse of breastfeeding? Can you do the cleanse of breastfeeding and just had a baby? I wouldn't do the cleanse if I'm breastfeeding and just had a baby. The reason why, Valerie, is because when you're breastfeeding, you want the milk to be established, right? You want the milk to be established. So for breastfeeding moms, what I recommend to my breastfeeding moms is carrot juice. Carrot juice has been shown to increase breast milk. So tell that mom, not the 21-day cleanse yet, but she can juice carrots all day, every day, until she has that established breast milk before she starts a 21-day cleanse. Great question. I've incorporated vegan and plant-based eating, but working toward raw. Okay, Paula G, join us. I'm a 95% raw, 5% cooked. My body prefers raw food. Cooked food, increases mucus buildup. Cooked foods, you're cooking all the vitamins and minerals many times away. So if you can do raw, do more raw. If you're doing cooked, just make sure you got something raw on your plate. If you're doing cooked, just make sure you always have something raw on your plate. Let's see. I juice fruits and veggies several times a week. How often should I juice daily? Well, I do 3 32-ounce juices a day, and 1 I do with my plant-based protein and coconut water. So you can juice several times a day. If you are a fruitarian or a liquidarian, there's some people that juice 4 to 5 times a day and have a salad, but definitely try minimum to juice once a day. If you're out there, minimum once a day. Try to get a raw cold pressed juice in you at least once a day. Starting by 7, let's see, is that say 70? Christian, are you saying 70? Oh, you're starting your 7-day. Okay, you're starting your 7-day on Wednesday. No more chicken. Your O blood type. This will be a huge milestone for you, Christian. You can do it. I'm here to support you. There are other coaches here to support you. When you think about all of the hormones, when you think about all of the toxic chemicals that they're feeding chickens, you have to wonder why chicken wings are this big. You know, chicken wings should never be that big. They're shot up with steroids, and you are consuming, Christian. You're consuming every steroid, every toxic chemical that was fed to that chicken. You're consuming it. You're also consuming the cortisol levels, the stress, the anxiety of that chicken when it was slaughtered. You're consuming that as well. So that's why we're seeing so much on the areas of autoimmune conditions now. We're seeing so many patients with thyroid, autoimmune Graves' disease now. We're seeing an increase in diabetes and heart disease and hypertension in kids, right? Because we're feeding them so much chicken nuggets, fried chicken from Popeyes, Harold's. I mean, these children from a very young age, we're giving them McDonald's when they're toddlers. So you would have to expect when they hit their 20s and 30s, they're already dealing with medical conditions that typically elderly or older people are faced with. Should we avoid processed plant-based foods? Absolutely yes, Susan. I eat very, very minimal processed plant-based foods. You want to eat as many raw fruits and vegetables. You want to juice as much as you can. You want to eat as many raw salads as you can. There's really no need to eat processed plant foods outside of the holiday. So for Memorial Day, I had the Impossible brats. It was a brats, you know, those Polish sausage type of things. So on occasion, those occasional holidays, I'll do a processed plant-based food, but on the regular, I do not. Can you overdo it on ginger and turmeric? I cook with it and juice with it. You know, Valerie, there's an opportunity to overdo anything. So in moderation, right? In moderation. If you love ginger and turmeric, in moderation. I don't know what the toxicity level, if any, if that would be on ginger or turmeric, but let me know how much you're using and we can kind of see if you're overdoing it. You can put it in the text, you can email me, or you can kind of do a journal over a week and kind of give me an idea how much ginger and turmeric you're using. Would the 21-day raw cleanse help someone with factor V blood disorder? You know, we can't make those sort of claims, but what I can say is that factor V blood disorder has an increased risk of that person having blood clots, be it pulmonary embolisms. So you have to be careful with some of the dark green leafy vegetables that person would be able to consume. But outside of that, because they may be on Coumadin or warfarin, outside of that, it would be very helpful for that person to do a 21-day cleanse. It would be helpful for every single person to do a 21-day cleanse because every single person needs to detox They need to correct their deficiencies. They need to hydrate because many of us are dehydrated, right? The 21-day cleanse addresses those root causes that I talked about. Will correct the pH. It will correct the low oxygen, the hypoxia, with fresh, raw fruits and vegetables. Let's see what else. So doctors have always said not to eat so many fruits. Yeah, they have, right? We tell you not to eat so many fruits a day due to sugar content. I eat fruit daily and juice several days a week. Is this a misconception? And why would doctors advise? Well, we would advise you that because that's what we were taught in medical school. We weren't taught in medical school that natural fruit is a different type of sugar than going to Starbucks and getting one of those sugary drinks, or going to 7-Eleven and getting one of those fountain drinks, or even drinking Pepsi or Coke, right? This is natural sugar. So there are people called fruitarians. That's all they eat. They only eat fruit and they only juice fruit, right? I can't remember, it's not Dr. Norman Walker. It's another naturopath who was a fruitarian and lived a long, very high quality of life, right? There are people who are diabetics that are fruitarians. So there are certain fruits that you're going to lean more toward when you're a fruitarian, or if you're consuming a lot of fruit, right? You're not going to eat a bag of grapes all day. You're going to consume a variety of fruit. You're going to consume apples, right? Because apples are high in fiber. You're going to consume some of the citrus fruits like grapefruit and oranges and pineapple. Not only are they giving you your vitamin C, but pineapple is a great source of protein. So a lot of folks don't even know that fruit, there are lots of fruits that have protein content. So yes, you can overdo anything, but no, fruit is not bad for you. Fruit is good for you. You guys have some great questions. Let's see. My 80-year-old mom is starting the 21-day cleanse. She's diabetic, takes cholesterol and high blood pressure meds. She's concerned about the sugar in the drinks. Okay, what drinks have sugar? Right, so in the 21-day cleanse, we've got apples. Apples is a great, more on a low glycemic scale, Ernestine, great source of fiber. So that's not an issue as it relates to diabetes. The juices we will prepare. Yeah, the juices will be fine for your 80-year-old mom that you're preparing, who's diabetic and taking cholesterol and high blood pressure medicine. Any other questions? Well, it's 6:04. We had a great conversation. We had a great Q&A. You can always email me if we didn't get your questions, ritamd@wakana.com. I really love this program. Again, this 21-day cleanse I started on Christmas Day. It has really opened my eyes as a healthcare professional of over 30 years that learned nothing in the medical school about nutrition, learned nothing about fruits and vegetables, right? And now I'm a raw vegan. I turned my blood pressure around with raw fruits and vegetables. So I am absolutely excited about you sharing this information with those that you love. I'm excited about you sharing this information with your community. I'm excited with you sharing this information with your physician, right? More physicians need to know that you can reverse disease. You can reverse disease. You can even prevent disease with a plant-based diet. So you can prevent and you can reverse disease. In fact, with a plant-based diet, you can reverse and prevent diabetes, hypertension, cancer. You can reverse and prevent heart disease by 40%, 40% with a plant-based diet. So this is great information. I want you to share it. I'm excited about all of you being on the call. I want to thank all of our guests, all of our business partners. I want to thank our co-founders. I want to thank our visionary, Melissa Bosson, Phyllis Nash, our CSO. I want to thank Dr. Eric Prince. I want to thank our leaders like Minister Mooney. I see you on the line, Ernestine, Margaret Dorsey, all of the leaders, Dr. Roz, Christian Phillips. Thank you so much, our COO. Please connect with the person that invited you on this call so that you can get your phase 1, 2, or 3 ordered. You can get connected to our community and we can make a change because it's time for a change. It's really time, guys. So be well, be safe. See you next Sunday and good night.